I hate networking. Even hearing the word just makes me cringe a little bit inside. The idea of it always just seems so artificial, a little distasteful. Um, to a foreigner like me, it seems, forgive me, a little American. The reason I detest it so much is because I've often been on the receiving end of being networked at. Recruiters who will call me all the time with a practiced friendliness and a sort of familiarity. But whenever I'm in a role that's over 5,000 plus employees, but then these same people ghost me when I'm in job search. Or vendors like one when I was an administrator in training to get my nursing home administrator's license. He told me, yeah, I don't want to waste my time with you. I need to talk to the organ grinder, not the monkey. A year later, I was doing acquisitions for that company, and he was always there on day one to offer his help setting up services for us. He'd even cite that, oh, yeah, me and Dave, we go way back to when he was in AIT. Yeah, we do. I remember. There was a salesman who literally shoved me out the way at an American Healthcare Association conference and then later fell over himself trying to buy me a drink that same day because I had my name tag on that time, showing that I was the divisional vice president at Five Star Senior Living. The fake friendliness, it's used like drilling equipment to extract whatever it is that they want from people that they only see as gold mines, not as people. And don't even get me started on those tiger pits that are networking events. You're trapped in a room with avarice driven actors always working an angle, telling me about our shared mission or religion or alumni status or past employers or shared favorite sports team or Hogwarts house, anything that they're able to find online that might connect us, and then they can quickly pivot into making a sale. Sometimes, though, it's worse than just that schmoozing. I noticed after I started moving into more senior management roles that I started winning a lot of prize drawings at conferences. Um, One vendor even handed me an envelope filled with cash that I'd apparently won. I developed a standard response to that type of thing. I was always, thank you so much for your donation of whatever it was, TV, trip money, to our Christmas party for our frontline staff. It's going to be greatly appreciated by the DSPs or CNAs. In order to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest, we'll be unable to use your services as a vendor for the next 24 months, but we do appreciate your generosity in supporting our mission and our frontline employees. I stopped that kind of nonsense pretty quickly after I sent a few of those out. It's just gross, but I might be wrong. Maybe it isn't networking that I hate, it's insincerity. In a conversation recently, I mentioned that I hated networking. And I said, well, thankfully, I haven't needed to do it. Almost every single job that I've ever had came from my reputation as being pretty good at what I do and not being too insufferable to work with. Almost every job had come because someone had heard that I was looking and told someone else, you should talk to this guy. I worked with him before and I can really recommend him. I got a response from somebody that said, well, that sounds a lot like networking. I hated networking because I'd seen so few examples of how to do it the right way. All of the things that I'd identified as networking were transactional, a skill set people had developed for using people and then moving on. That's not exactly my cup of tea. Recently, I was introduced by my friend Laura Perino to a guy called John Arms, the founder of Voyager U Fractional Talent Community. Now, John, brilliant man, had nothing at all to gain from meeting with me, but he was very gracious. He scheduled an hour and he gave me a lot of advice and ideas. And he even connected me to a company that he thought could use a little bit of what I do professionally, that I could be of help to them. John told me that he approaches networking with what he calls a generosity mindset. When you meet people, find out about what they do, what they're interested in, see if you can help them in some way, and that's it. No sales pitch, no ask. I thought, well, but I do that all the time on flights, in hotels, even at punk concerts. I recently met a really great BCBA at a Flogging Molly show last month and connected them with a company that's hiring. You're saying that's networking? I frequently hear from recruiters with roles. Sadly, most of the time, not when I actually need them. But I always make a point of knowing who's looking for a job. And when a recruiter contacts me, I always connect them with good people that might be a fit for the job they're recruiting for. Could that be networking? Even last week, I was thinking about this because I had dinner at my house with a dear, dear friend of mine that I hadn't actually seen in person for 30 years. We'd known each other when we were very, very young. Uh, I was just overjoyed 10 years ago when I reconnected with this person. And I've loved catching up and getting to know her husband. They're just adorable kids. Now, that couldn't possibly be networking, right? But was that friendship professionally valuable when COVID hit? And I had 350 residential locations across the country to manage and had to speak on well over 200 town halls to thousands of people. Having a good friend who was also a virus scientist at the CDC and could explain in simple terms to a simpleton like me how all the science worked and what was happening and the latest updates so I could relay that to people. Bet your sweet butt that was valuable. But I'm not a good networker. There is a work part to network, and that's the part I need to improve on. It's maintaining those connections with the people that you meet and the people that you help. And that takes a lot of work. Being a good networker, it's not about practicing a pitch, your elevator speech. It's not about finding ways to work the steps of a process to manipulate people or sell something. Let's see, we talked about college for 2 minutes, so we built a relationship of trust. Now let's see if I can prep them to hear my pitch, resolve their concerns, and help them make and keep commitments. Ugh, yuck. I mean, that's just manipulation. We all know a lot of great, smart people, and we all lose touch with some of them. The work part of networking is setting aside a few hours every week to reconnect, especially when you're working, especially if you're too busy, especially if you don't need anything. Take some time and reach out and say, hey, look, I was thinking of you. How are things in your world? Is there anything you need that I can help you with? It might never lead to anything that helps you, but that's not the point. A network is about how we connect each other as people and then make further connections. Like my friend Sam connected me with the great people at Coach's Cafe. Wonderful folks. Jim Rink, what a great man. And while I've been building a consulting pipeline and looking at some full-time jobs, most of the networking that I've done has led to me connecting other people with jobs or resources that they needed. And that's great. I celebrate with them. I'm making a list, though, of some of the really, really good people that I've had the pleasure of working with or knowing and haven't spoken to in far too long. I want to find out what's in their world and how I can help, not based on their current role or a list of target companies or what I need, just good people that I want to be part of a network with. Now imagine for a minute if we all did that. When we abandon transactional artificiality and we embrace a generosity mindset, we can really make lives better through networking. I know, who knew?